Guys, it's the ranter here with you. Listen, I got a story to tell you, and man, it's a one that got under my skin more than I can even begin to tell you. Mrs. Ranter and I are on the bus actually. Day before yesterday, I think it was. Had to go somewhere. We didn't have a vehicle available, so we jump on a bus. Okay? Everybody getting on the bus, everybody getting off the bus, stop by stop, everything's good until elderly gentleman gets on the bus. He's got a wheelchair, he pushes on. He's starting to put his coins in a little slot there to pay his fare. As he's putting his coins in though, my man is wearing gloves, okay? He's having a hard time with it. Younger dude from the back of the bus yells, "Trying to go to fucking work. You need to move up. Move your ass," and uses a racial slur. Now, both of them have the same background. So, it isn't any kind of hate crime or anything like that. He's just using his words, okay? Mr. Man up front turns real slow and looks at him and goes, "You see me speeding up for you, right, young brother?" And then goes back to feeding this thing in the machine. Now, I see two sides of this coin, people. I see the kid wanting to go to work, okay. I see older man having a hard time. The guy's a little shaky. He's got the gloves on, okay. However, once older dude gets on the bus, he continually yelling at the younger dude, trying to cause trouble, purposely saying shit that's going to get this kid going. So of course the kid gets going. It escalates to the point where the young man walks up to the front where the older man is sitting and wants to start throwing down. Now, of course, the boomer ranter is going to protect Mrs. Ranter at all costs. I stand between the two. Between them and her, not between the two of them, but between them and her to protect her. Bus driver gets on a little intercom. "Guys, you got to calm down or I got to pull the bus over. And we're going to have to get security involved to get him on the bus." Here's the rant. The rant is this. The bus drivers here in Vegas have been talking about their safety being an issue since I've lived out here, actually, really for years. But more so in the last year or so, for whatever reason, people have lost their goddamn minds. So they're acting up even worse now on the buses. So they want safety. Now listen, there's absolutely no reason that they couldn't have some security riding each bus line, some security guard riding each bus line to put a curb on all this. They choose not to. They choose instead to put a little phone there for them to call if there's a problem. The little phone ain't gonna do shit. If those two were gonna throw down right then, which they didn't, people, by the way, let me get to the end of the story first. They did not end up throwing down. They just had some words. The older dude showed a big old knife to the younger dude, made the younger dude sit down. Obviously, he doesn't have a weapon. And his buddy's telling him, "Listen, we're trying to get to work, man. You don't want to get arrested, so let's go sit down." They sit down, even though the older man's still running his mouth. And ends up, nobody fights. Everything ends up okay. However, point of the story is, there's no security on these goddamn buses here. And there are people who are constantly, this happens every day. Happens every day here on the buses. So they're not going to put security on the buses. They're going to put cameras on there. That's great. So at least they can identify the people. If they kill someone, they know who killed them. That's fantastic. What about a little prevention? What about putting a security guard on the goddamn buses? There are plenty of people out here that need jobs. Plenty of them. Plenty of people that would love to get paid to sit on a bus and ride a bus back and forth all day. The only thing they got to worry about is if an asshole gets on, they got to throw him off. Good. Throw him the fuck off. Help the rest of us out that got to ride these buses. But instead, they fight these drivers tooth and nail the whole way. All they want is to be safe in the place in which they work, which happens to be on a bus with the public. And I don't know if you know this lately, people, but the public has lost their goddamn mind. And every single place you go, there's a problem. Somebody wants to get loud. Somebody's got to cause problems. Somebody's going to start, shoving or pushing or throwing shit around because people decided for some reason that all of a sudden they can't just act like a human being and act normal and have just a conversation. It's got to turn into this violence and this, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to be big and bad. Let me tell you something. The RANT is former military. You become big and bad with me, you might have a problem, first of all. And then second of all, not just me, but you never know who you're going to come up against, right? You never know. So, they're not going to be nice? Fine, don't be fucking nice. But get these security guards on these goddamn buses so the people like me that have to ride it to go back and forth to work, when this shit goes on, they can throw them the fuck off the bus immediately so there's no problems. Now see, I'm getting upset again. I gotta go.